Well, I just got back from the 40th and final NNL West show down in Santa Clara, California, and figured I'd do a little video showing y'all what I got. So we're going to jump right in with the non-plastic items. So on Friday, they do a shop tour where they go around to a couple shops around the Bay Area, and one of those shops would be Canepa, which it's multi-purpose. It is a high-end slash classic slash race car dealership and mechanic. They specialize in building a lot of high-end classic cars, and they do a lot of work with high-end classic race cars. And they have this massive facility down just outside of Santa Cruz that I've been wanting to go to for years. And so while on the tour there, I did get myself a little t-shirt. Now you'll see it's got the 959 Porsche on there, and one of Canepa's kind of main claims is they were the company that basically federalized the 959 Porsches. They were bankrolled by Bill Gates, who wanted to import them but was not able to. So he hired Bruce Canepa to do all the federalization, including emissions, crash testing, and all that to get the 959 legal to be sold in the U.S. So that's why they have the 959 on their logo. And then Friday night was the Slice of the West show, which is a nice little casual, non-affiliated pre-show that's held not too far from the convention center. And so while I was there, I got myself a couple of stickers, one from the host club and one commemorating, there we go, the event, and one commemorating the event. So going on from there, I have one more non-plastic item. So going into Saturday of the show, they had this really nice swap meet there, but there was one vendor who had a lot of old hot rod and classic car magazines and books. And on the left side of the table, there was a small pile of old computer games, mostly Formula One kind of games. But there was one thrown in there that I had to get because it's such a outrageous theme. Fiat Panda Fundraiser, because everyone's favorite racing game should include a Fiat Panda. This is an old promo game. Down there on the bottom it has Fiat Auto UK, so it must have been given out at dealerships or magazines or who knows in the UK in the early 2000s. Guy wanted 50 cents for this. I was all ready to give him a full $1 for this, but he said that I was the first person who had ever actually touched this, and so he just gave it to me. So very kind of him, and just something that I now own for some reason. So now we'll get into the model car stuff. And I didn't do a whole lot of part shopping, but I did manage to get myself a set of, I believe these are 15-inch wide white tires with a really nice bias ply design. There is no brand on the back, but I can never have enough wide white walls, so I'm glad to have picked these up. And with that, we'll get into kits. So I guess we'll start off with the two kits that I didn't technically buy, and that's because they had a door raffle there where whenever you bought a ticket to get into the show, you were given, I want to say it was 5 or 6 raffle tickets. And they had also like 5 or 6 raffles throughout the day. And I was towards the later pulling of the second to last drawing, so it was pretty picked over by the time I got to go up, but I still got some really cool kits. So we're going to start off with the Tamiya Porsche Boxster kit, which I don't necessarily know what I'll do with this. I am a big Porsche fan, and as you'll see, I do kind of collect Porsche kits, so at the very least it'll be a nice piece for the collection. The Boxster is not necessarily my favorite Porsche, which I think a lot of people can relate with if they do like Porsches, but you know, it's a cool kit nonetheless. It's a very cool kit. I believe Was it Brian with BG's Garage? I think he did one of these and actually did a pretty good job with it. So, who knows, I might actually end up building this at some point. But then the other kit I got for the raffle, it was towards the end of the day, so they were allowing you to get 2 kits if your number was called. And this one, I am not familiar with the company. It is Arii, A-R-I-I. And this is a Chaparral 2C Can-Am style race car. I don't know if this particular model was a Can-Am car, but it definitely looks the part with those intakes. And apparently this is a pretty nice kit. I know the classic race car kits can be very, very nice. I was talking with a guy at the show who had a fully resin-printed Maserati Type 61, the birdcage, and that is just such a gorgeous model that he did. So I have no idea about this kit. Hopefully it's a pretty good quality, because that's what I've heard. But yeah, this is another one. I don't know if I'll ever build it. I love classic race cars, but I don't really build them. But always could. So now we'll get into the kits that I actually purchased. And we'll start off with one of the cars that was actually on my shopping list. I had 3 or 4 kits that I was really hoping to purchase when I was there, and this was one of them, so I'm super happy I got it. But the AMT 36 Ford. This is getting to be a bit of an older release. What was this, 2014 or something? Stand by. I'm not seeing the date on the box. It is a round 2 release. I know it's not that old in the scheme of things, but it's old enough that they're getting a little hard to find. I've been keeping an eye on eBay, and there's not really any popping up for a feasible price. But when I was at the show, they had a charity table where someone or some people had donated kits to be sold for charity for $10 a piece, and this was sitting right there. And for $10 to get a kit that I really want, that is an absolute score. So definitely keep an eye out, because I am really hoping to build this kit this year. I just purchased a part that I need to do this the way I want to. So it's going to take a few weeks to get here, but once I have that part, I will be ready to go on this. So keep an eye out for this. I am so happy I got this kit. So another kit that I picked up is going to be the Revell Model A Tutor, which is another kind of older kit now, and just one that I want to have in the stash because I'm a big Model A guy and have considered picking this up for a while. Again, the price was hard to argue with. This is actually the same seller who had those wide white walls, so got a deal on everything. And yeah, just another kit that I'm happy to have in the stash because I'll probably end up doing something with it at some point. Now we'll go into another kit. I don't buy a ton of vintage kits. I have a few, and I'm wanting to get more, but they're usually kind of cost prohibitive for me. Especially older AMT releases, they can easily break into the $100 range, which, yeah, $100 for a kit that you're probably not going to build is a lot. So I usually don't pay too much attention when I see them on the table. So I had been walking by this one vendor, and I saw this on his table, looked at it, just thought the box art was cool, and then just kind of moved on with my life. And then we end up back at his table later with a buddy of mine who had asked the price on it. Price was very reasonable, so I decided to get it just because it's a very cool box, and that is the Michael Pollard Flower Power 36 Ford. So now I have both a 36 Ford that I can build and one that I can collect. And yeah, the price on this was a bit cheaper because the motor was started. Looks fine, but everything else is there. So it does appear to be complete. It was rebagged. But if you look on the front of the box, you'll see the 36s were written in pen in a way that's not too crazy. Like, it kind of goes with the pattern, so I'm not too worried about it. So just a kit that I bought because it looks cool. I mean, that is a very mod style box to it. Now, I'm going to have to zoom out. This is a kit that I bought, again, just because the price is right, and I don't really know what I'll do with it, but I'll do something with it most likely. And that is the Monogram F250. This is an 80s style. Extended cab, single rear wheel. And yeah, you can probably go off the old price tag how much I paid for this. Gave the guy a full 1 penny profit. But yeah, just a kit that I've kind of casually had my eye on, and it's actually nice because it does have a motor, so it's not a promo style. So it looks like probably, what, 460? That could be fun to do. I don't know if there's any... That I'm going to have to look into. I wonder if there's a 6.9 Power Stroke that you can throw in this. If not, I could probably work towards designing it. I'm wanting to get into designing full motors. So a 6.9 could be an interesting thing to design up. So we'll see. Then we're getting close to the end here. Now we'll start getting into the Porsches. So I have this Erdl SE, or ESCI, I don't know if you spell it or say it, but this is a cool kit I picked up. 934 RSR Turbo. Again, I love classic racing Porsches, so I had to get this. Cool old box art. A kit that I'll probably not build, but just nice to have in the collection. It is complete. It is sealed on the inside. And yeah, it's molded in this... I was actually told by someone, but it's molded in color, that these apparently have some funky style decal on them, where even though this is an older kit, I was told that these are actually very nice decals. So if I do ever build it, there's a chance that I might be able to use these, even though I think this is a late 80s release, mid 80s release. But yeah, the guy had built a few of these, said the tires are garbage, but it makes up for the fact that the decals are amazing. So, good to know. And then finally, my last kit is one that, again, I was looking at because it's an old Porsche and thought it would be cool to have. And when I was looking at the box, I had noticed that it's a double print. Now, I don't know in the model kit world if error kits are collectible or not, but coming from the diecast world, there is a community that does like collecting error kits. It's still very polarizing. You have the people that are, really happy that they have this one kit that is, or this one car that is unique because it's got like an extra casting bubble, or the decals are wrong, or it's missing decals, all that kind of stuff. They think it's cool because it's unique. While on the other side, you have people who are like, well, I'm not paying so-and-so money for a car that's defective, right? So I don't know if it's the same in the model world, but I bought this because, or I was looking at it because it was a double print, and then the guy next to me filled me in on the history of the kit, which is what eventually convinced me to buy it. And that kit is the Revell Richie Ginther Porsche 914 race car. So other than the double printing, what makes this kit unique is that it is a Lodella kit. So Lodella, as I was told by this other guy who was looking at the vendor's collection of stuff, Lodella licensed a few kits from Revell in order to produce and sell in Mexico. And I had not heard about this, but again, coming from the diecast world, I knew Mattel had done very similar things with a couple of manufacturers for Hot Wheels, including ones in India, and I think there was another, it's going to skip my mind where the other producer was, but when I heard that this was a Mexican exclusive, I had to have it. I thought that was super cool. So as you'll see in the box, all the text is in Spanish. Here on the bottom, it has that it was produced in Mexico by Plásticos Lodella. And as you can also see in the box, it is very heavily misprinted. So it almost kind of gives it an interesting little like drop shadow effect. But yeah, that was the final kit that I picked up at the show, and that is my entire haul. So I think I did very well. I'm very happy with everything that I purchased. The only other things I forgot to mention was that the seller who had the Flower Power 36 was also very generous and threw in a couple of Lesney matchboxes for me. Now, I am also a huge collector of Lesneys. I actually have a little internal theory that whenever I can go to an event and there is a Lesney that I'm willing to purchase, it is a good event. And the only thing that makes it better is that if there was one that was given to me for free. So I negotiated in to have him throw in the horse trailer with the deal, and then afterwards he just threw in the... This is the Lotus, right? Or is it a Brabham? Yeah, it's the Lotus. So he threw in the Lotus as well. And they're both actually in pretty good condition. They both have all the parts, so the horse trailer has the horses, and the Lotus has the driver and all 4 tires, which is very hard to find for either of those. And the tan base for the horse trailer is a bit more rare. The green base was a lot more common. So both were, I'm very happy to have in the collection as well. So it was extremely generous of him to throw those into the deal. And yeah, that kind of sets the theme for the show. Like, I don't think... I know for sure, actually, I did not pay asking price for any kit that I purchased. I was able to negotiate on everything, and prices were very good. Of course, some of the more collectible, more desirable older kits, you can't... There's no room for negotiating there. You see it, you kind of just have to pay what they're asking if that's the case. But for everything that I'm looking for, easy to negotiate, easy to make deals, everyone's willing to, so that was also nice. So that closes out my haul. Another thing I just wanted to mention is that I did run into a few people there, a few people I had known, a few people that I met, and it was great to see everyone. So I'm not going to name names because I am paranoid about the fact that I would forget someone's name and don't want to be rude in that way. So if I met you, it was great meeting you, and if I saw you again for the second, third, whatever time, it was great to see you again, and hopefully we can all meet up again in the future. So I guess I'll mention for shows, as of right now, I think there are 2 shows I'm pretty set on going to this year. One that I would like to go to. I'm hoping to go to the Grand National Roadster Show at the end of January. I'm still working out details on that. That is not set in stone, but that would be the 31st to the 2nd of February. I only recently learned that they have a model show there, so that'd be cool to go to. But the other 2 shows that I'm pretty set on, in May, I would love to go to the NNL North, which was the first ever model show I entered in, and I'm trying to go pretty regularly. So I am very much planning on being there. And then, of course, the IPMS shows around Northern California, I'm going to be working towards IPMS Santa Rosa, which is usually in October-ish or November, late in the year. I'm really working on making sure I can go to that once the date is released. So if you're going to either of those shows, let me know. Would love to meet up. And I guess we'll close out the show, or the video, by saying the lowrider Chevy pickup truck was done in time, and so I will be filming a final build video for that this week, so hopefully should be up probably by the weekend, if not sooner. And so I'm also going to be, now that that's done, I'm going to be getting into another build. I have a few ideas. I had mentioned the 36 Ford, but I'm waiting on a part that's going to probably take about a month to arrive. So that'll be postponed. I also have a Revell Series 3 Land Rover that I designed a few parts for that I'm hoping to get started on. I also would love to do a 49 shoebox Ford. There's also a cyberpunk build-off on Instagram that would be very interesting, so I might get started on that. So those are the builds that I'm currently considering starting here in the next week or so. So keep an eye out for one of those build videos. And then the 24-hour build-off is a few weekends away now, and I have a few kits set aside to consider for that build-off, so I'll also be doing a video on that. and I talked a bit about it in one of my other videos, but I'll throw in the details for that build off if you're interested. It is the same weekend as the 24 Hours of Daytona. It goes from noon Saturday your time to noon Sunday your time, and you have just those 24 hours to finish a build. It is a lot of fun. This will be my third year doing it, so if you're interested, I'm going to have a link for the Facebook group in the description. But now that all that's done, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video.